Hey everyone, my name is Dante and welcome back to Story Hub, your hub for the best stories on Reddit. I'm a single father. I have raised my son alone because when he was just a few days old, his mother suddenly decided she didn't want a child anymore. She claims she's not ready to have a child and refused to even feed him or hold him. I wanted to give her some time. I thought that maybe it's just postpartum depression or something. I was ready to be there for her, but she was serious. She packed her stuff and left the hospital. Her last words were that she wants to see neither me or our son ever again. I have never seen her since, and I kind of feel like mother-in-law had something to do with it because during her pregnancy she was talking all the time about how young her daughter is and how inappropriate of a moment this is for her to have a child. I don't have any proof and I can't tell anything for sure, but I feel like mother-in-law somehow secretly persuaded her to take this step for whatever reason. So I was left alone with an infant in my hands. It definitely wasn't easy. I was just 21 years old. I had to leave college and work very hard to give my son everything he needed. Fortunately, I wasn't completely alone. There were people who helped me to get through the hardest period. People who babysat him while I was working, who gave me advice on how to take care of a baby, and I'll be forever thankful to them. When he grew up a little, it became easier. I could send him to a kindergarten and work without asking people to take care of him while I'm not there. During all this time I hope to hear from his mother. I hope that she'll eventually come around and realize you can't just leave your child like a worthless piece of trash. But even though I had left her my contacts and she could call me or write me a letter or something, she didn't. I never heard from her. She never once used her rights to visit him. When he was little, he often asked me why did his mother leave him, why didn't she want him? And I didn't know what to answer because I always tried not to speak badly of his mother in front of him. Now my son is 25 years old. He's a hardworking, educated young man and I'm so proud of him, and I'm proud of myself that I was able to raise him to be a good person. We stopped talking about his mother a long time ago. It was his initiative. He was like, well, if she doesn't want to be with us, then it's her loss and there's nothing we can do about it. So recently mother-in-law appeared on our doorstep. Without a call, without any kind of notification, she was just there and she had come to visit her grandson. I couldn't believe my ears, and at first, I almost didn't recognize her, because so many years have passed after all. And she was behaving as if she was a caring grandmother who had come to see her grandchild like she does all the time. Not like she was gone for 25 years. When my son saw her, he didn't recognize her either. I have shown him pictures of his mother and his grandmother just in case they show up one day, but I never really thought that they would. She ran up to him and hugged him just like a loving grandmother would, asking how he's doing and how big and beautiful he has become, and he pushed her away and looked kind of confused. I told him that it's his grandmother who randomly showed up to visit him, and he was like oh, and walked away from her. Mother-in-law didn't take this reaction very well. She looked at me and was like, what have you taught him if he doesn't even say hello to his grandmother? He's looking at me as if I'm a stranger. Haven't you told him about his mother and me or shown him our pictures? Well, technically you are a stranger, mother-in-law. He had never seen you in person, so why are you so surprised? You show up out of thin air after 25 years when he's all grown up and expect him to treat you with love. Isn't it kind of delusional? My son said, Dad did show me your picture, but I needed no picture, I needed you to be there for me. He was quite hateful with her, throwing question after question at her, and mother-in-law's responses were so incredibly narrow-minded. It looked like she wasn't expecting him to ask any questions. He asked her where his mother was and mother-in-law was like, oh, she's doing very well. She's living together with a great man and she has 2 nice kids. She has gotten over that misunderstanding about your birth. She was acting as if her daughter was the victim here, as if we were the ones who left her. He asked her why did his mother abandon him. Mother-in-law said, well, she was such a young girl. It would be crazy for her to have a child at that age. She had her whole life ahead of her and a baby would only be an obstacle. You must understand it. She didn't want to lose her freedom. Honestly, her daughter was older than me when our son was born. She was 24. I don't think it's too early to have a child. It's not like she was 14 or something. Actually, age has nothing to do with it. I could have given up my son too. I was very young as well. But I didn't because I loved him and I wanted to be his father. At this point I wanted to show mother-in-law the door. Obviously, she wasn't welcome in our house, but my son stopped me. He had one more question. He asked why mother-in-law didn't want to be his grandmother. His mother left him, fine, but why did mother-in-law leave him too? Mother-in-law said, well, I had no time to take care of you. I was a young woman too. I had my life too. And grandkids are only obligated to take care of grandparents when they're old, and that's why I'm here. Then my son told her to leave and never come back. He said he doesn't want to see her ever again and he won't help her with anything. Really quick, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to drop a like. And as she was leaving, she attacked me like that's what I thought. A man alone cannot raise a proper human being. Such a rude and impolite boy. He would have turned out better in an orphanage than with you. So according to mother-in-law, the conclusion is, don't have children while you're young, or if you do, feel free to leave them and then come back a few decades later. And they'll love you even though they have never received any kind of care from you. But seriously, what the hell was she expecting? Not the idiot. That stupid butch. That whole side of the family is horrible. I had my daughter May of this year when I was 24 years old. Turned 25 in September, and my husband only just turned 22 when she was born. You're absolutely right. It's not freaking 14 years old. You're an adult. Life happens. I could never ever imagine walking out on my daughter and husband like that. It's despicable. Frick them. You are a great father who raised a wonderful son. Not the idiot. I'm actually glad this happened. You kicked ass as a father and raised someone who sounds like a strong young man. This strong young man just got to see the difference between the father who raised him and the grandmother and mother who abandoned him for utterly ridiculous reasons. Well done, not the idiot. You probably already have, but just in case, it would be good to talk to him about this. Just an open talk where he can explain how he feels and where you can help him if he has any trouble coping with it. It may not seem like a big deal and that he's handled it really well, but it would still be good, just to make sure and to show that he can talk about these things with you. If he doesn't want to, don't press him or anything, just let him know you're there. Now for the next story. I, female 23, love my boyfriend, male 24, and have been dating him for about 2 years. He has always been really supportive, and our relationship is great, so when it came time for Christmas, I wanted to get him something really special. He has been complaining about his laptop for a while and has expressed the desire to upgrade to a newer model. I decided I would surprise him with a brand new laptop for Christmas. I wanted to get him the best laptop I could, so for the weeks leading up to Christmas, when he'd complain about his laptop, I'd take these opportunities to casually ask him which laptop he liked, what he wanted in a new laptop, and so on. The main problem he had with his laptop was the speed, so I thought it would be fitting to get him the same model that he had. MacBook Pro, just the latest version. Now, I'm not a tech person. I don't know the first thing about RAM, SSD, etc. I just assumed a $1,300 laptop would be more than enough for his needs. So I bought the laptop, without doing any more research into it. Christmas Day came and I gave my boyfriend the laptop. He was so excited, until he saw the specs. When he saw that the laptop had 8 GB of RAM, he was really disappointed because he couldn't get his work done on such a slow machine. He was adamant that he needed something with more RAM. This turned into a full-blown argument. I tried to explain to him that I had done my best and spent a lot of money on the laptop, so he should appreciate it, but he wasn't having it. He said he would rather return the laptop and get the one he wanted. At this point, I was really hurt and upset. I had gone out of my way to get him a really nice present, and I felt like he didn't appreciate it at all. Yes, I could return it and get him the one he wanted, but I had already spent a lot of money. The fact that he wasn't even willing to give it a chance made me really frustrated. So long story short, I decided to re-gift the laptop to my sister, 19 Fahrenheit. She's a college student, and I know she could really use a laptop like this. I know it may sound selfish, but I didn't think it was fair that he didn't appreciate my gift, and I wanted to make sure the laptop went to someone that would actually appreciate it. My boyfriend is, to put it bluntly, pissed. He does not understand why I wouldn't just return it and get him the one he wanted and cannot believe I would do something so selfish when I know how much he needs a new laptop. I feel kind of bad, but at the same time, this wasn't cheap for me, and a little appreciation would have been nice. Am I the idiot? You're the idiot. Your boyfriend sounds like he was appreciative of your gift, but he needed a machine that can do what he needs it to. That's the risk of getting a laptop or something similar, cars, etc., without the involvement of the person you're buying it for. The correct action would have been returning the laptop and allowing him to put the money towards a machine that fits his needs. You're the idiot. You meant well, but your gift was not what he needed. You could have offered to return it and get a gift card to the computer shop so he could put the money towards something more expensive that fits his needs, but instead you threw a fit and gave it away. Think a little next time before you react. There's often another, more reasonable solution. You're the idiot who spends $3K on a laptop without even doing the research that it'll actually perform for its purpose. The effort was half-assed, and when he got upset you just gave his gift away. You should have returned it with your BF and he could have paid the difference to upgrade. My job got me a 8 GB RAM MacBook and they also had to upgrade because it didn't work for my needs. For some tasks 8 GB is useless.